And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We got to get there. Thanks to your help. In one day, we picked up over 5,000 subscribers. So thank you. So continue to watch, continue to comment, and please continue to share with friends because the stupidity coming out of DC, it is boundless. And together, united we stand, divided we fall. I want to bring up, for example, yesterday, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen. He went to El Salvador to try to see proof of life, Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia. And at first, he was denied access. But again, persistence. Yesterday evening, he posted this on X, showing the two of them together. In it, he turned around in that post, and it says, I said my main goal of this trip was to meet with Kilmar. Tonight, I had that chance. I've called his wife, Jennifer, to pass along his message of love. I look forward to providing a full update upon my return. That came from the official senator's website. And I want to bring up an important point. The important point is, you're telling me, Michael Cohen, or you, U.S. citizen, that Trump, our president, and the El Salvadorian president, President Bukele, can't actually bring Garcia back to the United States or even show proof of life, but a senator, a Maryland senator, could see Garcia and even meet him outside of the prison. Let me be clear. They gave him his clothes. They took him to a facility outside of the prison in order for him to meet Senator Van Hollen. Here's the part that really sort of confuses me, because you have all of these fucking sycophants around him. They let someone steal Trump's thunder. Trump let someone steal his thunder. Instead of being hailed as a hero, he's hailed as a fucking zero. And for that, he wasn't happy about it. This is what he posted on his Truth Social. On it, he turns around and he says, Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland looked like a fool yesterday, standing in El Salvador, begging for attention from the fake news media or anyone. Grandstander. No, Mr. President, with all due respect, and I know you better than almost anybody on this planet. He stole your thunder. If I was sitting around you, I would have turned around and said, let's go. Let's go. It's a short fucking trip. Let's go there. Let's meet him at the airport. Let's have him brought on to Air Force One, imagine that, and bring him back to America. Have his family meeting them at the tarmac. You will be hailed as a hero. You own the mistake that was made. Shit happens. This is a big project that you want to deport like 10 million people. There are going to be mistakes made. Instead, you allow these people to convince you to double, triple, quadruple down. You look like a fucking moron. You let a senator steal your thunder for no reason at all. You should have owned this. You should have been the hero to bring him back. I apologize. Shit happens. Mistakes are made. And you don't have to worry. They can't sue, right? So everything that happens, you don't have to worry about the money. There's no reason in the world that you let anybody. And worse, now you go on and you post this Truth Social thing calling him a grandstander. That grandstanding should have been done by you. And on Thursday, Reagan appointed Judge Harvey Wilkinson of the Fourth Circuit of Appeals, who severely criticized, that's a Ronald Reagan appointment. He criticized you and your administration for your conduct in this case. And the reason I bring up the fact that Ronald Reagan appointed Judge Wilkinson is so that you don't turn around and say that he's a biased judge, which of course you do. He's a Democrat appointee. No, he's not. By Ronald Reagan. I want to read an excerpt from Wilkinson's opinion, extremely important for understanding just how poorly they screwed up this matter. He first writes, the administration is asserting a right to stash away residents of this country in foreign prisons without the semblance of due process that is the foundation of our constitutional order, wrote Judge J. Harvey Wilkinson in the opinion for a panel of the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. Further, he goes on to say, it claims in essence that because it has rid itself of custody, that there's nothing that can be done. This should be shocking, not only to judges, but to the intuitive sense of liberty that Americans far removed from courthouses still hold dear. Imagine that kind of statement by a Reagan-appointed judge in this specific matter. Now, despite multiple judges, including the Supreme Court, saying that the government must bring Abrego Garcia back to the United States, Trump, sycophants, enablers, and his pundits, they're standing strong, digging their heels in. You know, Greg Gutfeld summed it up well on Fox News, saying none of this matters. Imagine this, none of this matters because Abrego Garcia is illegal. Play the clip.
We have to check every single person who's here illegally, and not just the ones that we know about, but all of them.
And so it makes me think, like, when they realized it was a problem, if they would have just dealt with it in the first 24 hours, nobody would be talking about this at all. Instead, now we have...
Or just have a border like every other country.
But I don't disagree. But remember, it was the Trump Justice Department that said they made the error. They were the ones that first...
And now they're saying that they didn't.
Yeah, right, and the judge is saying, give us the evidence.
Yeah, I know.
That's all. I agree 100%.
Who cares, though? Who cares? He's illegal. See ya.
Not how it works, schmuck. Not how it works. Then, of course, you have ICE Director Tom Homan. He's on CNN with Caitlin Collins. And you know what? She wasn't going to go easy on him. She doesn't go easy on anybody. Trust me. I've been interviewed by her, 100 times. She asked him about Judge Boasberg's order. And he goes forth and says, literally claims, no one did anything wrong. Play the clip.
He was asked about Judge Boasberg's ruling that probable cause exists to hold officials in criminal contempt potentially for violating his orders. Do you think that any of your colleagues have violated orders here?
No, I don't. I think we follow the judge's order. I think we'll let that litigate in court. No, DOJ is fighting that in court, but I don't think we did anything wrong.
Wrong, including your DOJ saying so, including every judge saying so. But lastly, Holman goes on and says that as a deportation official, he thinks everything has been done correctly. Play that clip.
You say everything was done right here. And I heard Stephen Miller in the Oval Office on Monday also arguing that he was lawfully deported. But this administration has admitted in court that he was mistakenly deported, that he should not have been deported.
Look, they say there's administrative error, but if you look at the case, if I look at the case as a non-attorney, just an enforcement officer, I think things were done right. Again, they're talking about, well, it might have been a paper error about the withholding. But if we look at the case and he's designated terrorist, I think that withholding has been set aside. That is my opinion. But again, we'll let DOJ fight it out.
Unbelievable. You know, in my Substack, I write about this and I turn around and I say, let's talk about this case of Abrego Garcia. He is a man who, despite a protective order and no active charges, showed up for his scheduled immigration check-in like a law-abiding, individual, only to be designated as MS-13 and deported away. And you may ask, on what basis did they do this? An accusation that was made by a detective who was later fired? I want you to let that sink in for a second. By an individual who was wrong and was fired as a result of it. They upended a life. They upended a family. They destroyed it. A man now being branded as a terrorist based on nothing than bad intel and bureaucratic cruelty. And despite all of this, what we know, with a straight face and before the American people, this cruel bastard, Tom Homan, refuses to even call it a mistake. And why? Why? Because in this administration, facts are more inconvenient than humane policy. What's truth to a man who's drunk on power and propaganda? See, the problem here is that mistakes, they require humility. Mistakes require a sense of justice. Mistakes require admitting that you are fallible. And those, my friends, are three things that the Trump brigade has never known and certainly will never acknowledge. And that is why I say to you, share this with a friend. Join the conversation. Be a part of this community. Let's make ourselves so big that it is impossible to ignore us. That we become the group that helps to change the outcome, especially in the upcoming midterms in 2026. And as always, thanks for listening.
Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.